Hello, welcome to Bible Study Time and welcome to my Quiet Time Bible Study. My Hebrew name is Ahava, and this is the time where I invite you to come and join me in the comfort of my prayer room, where we discuss different topics to do with the Most High Creator God of the universe, the Creator, the God of all gods, the God of all spirits. And this week we are going to get into our first video of the week, where we continue reading through the book of Jasher from the complete 54 book Apocrypha. Those of you who are new, welcome to my channel. And last week we left off in chapter 8. And as I mentioned previously, I'm going to save some of my commentary for, future, once we get into like the midway, halfway mark of the book. Okay, so this week we're going to continue reading through chapter number 9, beginning in chapter number 9. So for those of you, the few of you, handful of you who have mentioned that you do have this book, last week we left off, let's just see here, in page number, huge book, very long. We left off last week in page number 330, okay? And this week we are continuing reading from page 331, beginning in verse number 1 of chapter 9 of the book of Jasher. So let's get right into it. I don't think I need my light right now, but we will see. Verse 1. Chapter 9. And Haran, the son of Terah, Abram's oldest brother, took a wife in those days. Haran was 39 years old when he took her, and the wife of Haran conceived and bore a son, and he called his name Lot. And she conceived again and bore a daughter, and she called her name Milcah. And she again conceived and bore a daughter, and she called her name Sarai. Haran was 42 years old when he begot Sarai, which was in the 10th year of the life of Abram. And in those days Abram and his mother and nurse went out from the cave, as the king and his subjects had forgotten the affair of Abram. And when Abram came out from the cave, he went to Noah and his son Shem, and he remained with them to learn the instruction of the Lord and his ways. And no man knew where Abram was. And Abram served Noah and his son Shem for a long time. And Abram was in Noah's house 39 years, and Abram knew the Lord from 3 years old. And he went in the ways of the Lord until the day of his death, as Noah and his son Shem had taught him. And all the sons of the earth in those days greatly transgressed against the Lord, and they rebelled against him. And they served other gods, and they forgot the Lord who had created them in the earth. And at that time, the inhabitants of the earth, each man made for themselves his god, gods of wood and stone, which could, a hair so annoying, could neither speak nor hear nor deliver. And the sons of men served them, and they became their gods. And the king and all his servants and Terah with all his household were then the first of those that served gods of wood and stone. And Terah had 12 gods of large size, and made of wood and stone, after the 12 months of the year. And he served each one monthly, and every month Terah would bring his meat offering and drink offering to his gods. Thus Terah did all the days. And the whole generation was wicked in the sight of the Lord. And they thus made every man his god, but they forsook the Lord who had created them. And there was no man found in those days in the whole earth who knew the Lord, for they each served his own god, except Noah and his household. And all those who were under his counsel knew the Lord in those days. And Abram the son of Terah was waxing great in those days in the house of Noah, and no man knew it, and the Lord was with him. And the Lord gave Abram an understanding heart, and he knew all the works of that generation. He knew that all the works of that generation were vain, and that all their gods were vain. and were of no avail. And Abram saw the sun shining on the earth. And Abram said to himself, surely now this sun that shines on the earth is God, and I will serve him. And Abram served the sun in that day, and he prayed to him. And when evening came, the sun set as usual. And Abram said within himself, surely this cannot be God. And Abram still continued to speak within himself, who is he who made the heavens and the earth, who created the earth, who created on earth? Where is he? And night darkened over him, and he lifted up his eyes toward the west, north, south, and east, and he saw that the sun had vanished from the earth, and the day became dark. And Abram saw the stars and moon before him, and he said, surely this is the God who created the whole earth, as well as man, and behold, these servants of his are gods around him. And Abram served the moon and prayed to it all that night. And in the morning, when it was light and the sun shone on the earth as usual, Abram saw all the things that the Lord had made on the earth. And Abram said to himself, surely these are not gods that made the earth and all mankind, but these are the servants of God. And Abram remained in the house of Noah, and there knew the Lord and his ways, and served the Lord all the days of his life. And all that generation forgot the Lord and served other gods of wood and stone, and rebelled all their days. And King Nimrod reigned securely, and all the earth was under his control, and all the earth was of one tongue, the words of union. And all the princes of Nimrod and his great men took counsel together, Phut, Mizrahim, Cush, and Canaan, with their families. And they said to each other, one moment. Sorry, there's a little bit of a situation going on here with the hair. My apologies. There we go. Sorry about that. Apologies. And they said to each other, come, let us build ourselves a city and a strong tower in it, and its top reaching the heavens, and we will make ourselves famous, so that we may reign over the whole world, in order that the evil of our enemies may cease from us, that we may reign mightily over them, and that we may not become scattered over the earth on account of their wars. And they all went before the king, and they told the king these words. And the king agreed with them in this affair, and he did so. And all the families assembled, consisting of about 600,000 men. And they went to seek an extensive piece of ground to build the city and the tower. And they sought in the whole earth, and they found none, like one valley at the east of the land of Shinar, about 2 days' walk. And they journeyed there, and they dwelt there. And they began to make bricks and burn fires to build the city and the tower that they had imagined to complete. And the building of the tower was a transgression and a sin for them. And they began to build it. And while they were building against the Lord God of heaven, they imagined in their hearts to war against him and to ascend into heaven. And all these people and all the families divided themselves in 3 parts. The first said, we will ascend into heaven and fight against him. The second said, we will ascend to heaven and place our own gods there and serve them. And the third part said, we will ascend to heaven and strike him with bows and spears. And God knew all their works and all their evil thoughts. And he saw the city and the tower which they were building. And when they were building, they built themselves a great city and a very high and strong tower. And on account of its height, the mortar and bricks did not reach the builders in their ascent to it until those who went up had completed a full year. And after that, they reached to the builders, and they gave them the mortar and the bricks. Thus it was done daily. And behold, these ascended and others descended on the whole day. And if a brick should fall from their hands and get broken, they would all weep over it. And if a man fell and died, none of them would look at him. And the Lord knew their thoughts. And it came to pass, When they were building, they cast the arrows toward the heavens, and all the arrows fell on them with blood. And when they saw them, they said to each other, surely we have slain all those that are in heaven. For this was from the Lord, in order to cause them to err, and in order to destroy them from off the face of the ground. And they built the tower and the city, and they did this thing daily until many days and years were elapsed. And God said to the 70 messengers who stood foremost before him to those who were near to him, saying, come, let us descend and confuse their tongues, that one man will not understand the language of his neighbor. And they did not. And so they did so to them. And from that day following, they each forgot his neighbor's tongue, and they could not understand to speak in one tongue. And when the builder took lime or stone from the hands of his neighbor, which he did not order, the builder would cast it away and throw it on his neighbor, so that he would die. And they did so many days, and they killed many of them in this manner. And the Lord struck the 3 divisions that were there, and he punished them according to their works and designs. Those who said, we will ascend to heaven and serve other gods, became like apes and elephants. And those who said, we will strike the heavens with arrows, the Lord killed them, one man through the hand of his neighbor. And the 3rd division of those who said, we will ascend to heaven and fight against him, the Lord scattered them throughout the earth. And when those who were left among them knew and understood the calamity which was coming on them, they forsook the building, and they also became scattered on the face of the whole earth. And they ceased building the city and the tower. Therefore he called that place Babel, for there the Lord confused the language of the whole earth. Behold, it was at the east of the land of Shinar. And as the tower which the sons of men built, the earth, as to the tower which the sons of men built, the earth opened its mouth and swallowed up 1/3 part thereof. And a fire also descended from heaven and burnt another 1/3. And the other 1/3 is left to this day. And it is of that part which was aloft, and its circumference is 3 days' walk. And so many of the sons of men died in that tower, a people without a number. Moving on to chapter number 10. And chapter 10 is quite a long chapter. So I'm going to be reading through chapter 10, and then later on in the week, we will get through 2 to 3 more chapters. So let's wrap up this brief reading today with chapter number 10. And Peleg, the son of Eber, died in those days, in the 48th year of the life of Abram, son of Terah. And all the days of Peleg were 239 years. And when the Lord had scattered the sons of men on account of their sin at the tower, behold, they spread out into many divisions, and all the sons of men were dispersed into the 4 corners of the earth. And all the families each became, according to its language, its land, or its city. And the sons of men built many cities according to their families, in all the places where they went, and throughout the earth where the Lord had scattered them. And some of them built cities in places from which they were afterward rooted out. And they called these cities after their own names, or the names of their children, or after their peculiar occurrences. And the sons of Japheth, the son of Noah, went and built themselves cities in the places where they went where they were scattered. And they called all their cities after their names. And the sons of Japheth were divided on the face of the earth into many divisions and languages. And these were the sons of Japheth according to their families: Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshech, and Tiras. These are the sons of Japheth according to their generations. And the children of Gomer according to their cities were the Francum, who dwell in the land of Franza, by the river of Franza, by the river of Sanaa. And the children of Rephas are the Bartonium, who dwelt in the land of Bartonia, by the river Leda, which empties its waters in the great sea Gihon, that is Oceanus. And the children of Togarmah are 10 families, and these are their names: Buzar, Parzunak, Bulgar, Elikanim, Ragbib, Tarki, Bid, Zebuk, Ongal, and Tilmaz. All these spread and rested in the earth and built themselves cities, and they called their cities after their own names. Those are they who abide by the rivers of Hithlah and Italak to this day. But the families of Angoli, Balgar, and Parzumak, they dwell by the great river Dunabe, and the names of their cities are also according to their own names. And the children of Javan are the Javanim, who dwell in the land of Macedonia. And the children of Medai are the Orilim, that dwell in the land of Kirshon. And the children of Tubal are those that dwell in the land of Tuscana, by the river of Pashia. And the children of Meshech are the Shibashni. And the children of Taras and Rubshah, Cushni, and Ongolis, all these went and built themselves cities. These are the cities that are situated by the sea of Jubas, by the river Kura, which empties itself in the river Tragan. And the children of Elisha are the Almanim, and they also went and built themselves cities. Those are the cities situated between the mountains of Job and Shibamno, and of them were the people of Lombardy, who dwell opposite the mountains of Job and Shibamo. And they conquered the land of Italia and remain there to this day. And the children of Chittim are the Romnim, who dwelt in the valley of Canopia by the river Tibru. And the children of Dudonim are those who dwell in the cities of the sea of Gihon in the land of Bordna. These are the families of the children of Japheth according to their cities and languages, when they were scattered after the tower, and they called their cities after their names and occurrences. And these are the names of all their cities according to their families, which they built in those days after the tower. And the sons of Ham were Cush, Mizrahim, Phut, and Canaan, according to their generation and cities. All these went and built themselves cities as they found fit places for them. And they called their cities after the names of their fathers: Cush, Mizrahim, Phut, and Canaan. And the sons of Mizrahim are the Ludim, Ananatum, Lehabim. Ooh, this is a hard one. Nephtuchim, Pathusrim. Oh, these are hard, guys. Kashuchim, and the Caphirim, 7 families. All these dwell by the river Sihor, that is the brook of Egypt. And they built themselves cities and called them after their own names. And the children of Pathros and Casloch intermarried together, and from them were out the Pelishtim, the Askthim, and the Jeranim, and the Githim, and the Ekrohim, 5 families in all. These also built themselves cities, and they called their cities after the names of their fathers to this day. And the children of Canaan also built themselves cities, and they called their cities after their names, 11 cities, and others without number. And 4 men from the family of Ham went to the land of the plain. These are the names of the 4 men: Sodom, Gomorrah, Admah, and Zeboim. And these men built themselves 4 cities in the land of the plain, and they called the names of their cities after their own names. And they and their children and all belonging to them dwelt in those cities, and they were fruitful and multiplied greatly and dwelt peaceably. And Seir, the son of Hur, son of Hivi, son of Canaan, went and found a valley opposite to Mount Paran, and he built a city there. And he and his 7 sons and his household dwelt there. And he called the city which he built Seir, according to his name. That is the land of Seir to this day. These are the families of the children of Ham according to their languages and cities, when they were scattered to their countries after the tower. And some of the children of Shem, son of Noah, father of all the children of Eber, also went and built themselves cities in the places wherein they were scattered, and they called their cities after their names. And the sons of Shem were Elam, Ashur, Arphaxad, Lud, and Aram. And they built themselves cities and called the names of all their cities after their names. And Ashur, son of Shem, and his children and household went out at that time, a very large body of them, and they went to a distant land that they found, and they met with a very extensive valley in the land that they went to. And they built themselves 4 cities, and they called them after their own names and occurrences. And these are the names of the cities which the children of Ashur built: Nineveh, Resen, Calach, and Rehoshbother. And the other children of Ashur dwelt there to this day. And the children of Aram also went and built themselves a city, and they called the name of the city Uz, after their eldest brother, and they dwelt there. That is the land of Uz to this day. And in the 2nd year after the tower, a man from the house of Ashur, whose name was Bela, went from the land of Nineveh to sojourn with his household wherever he could find a place. And they came until opposite the cities of the plain against Sodom, and they dwelt there. And the man rose up and built a small city there, and called its name Bela, after his name. That is the land of Zoar to this day. And these are the families of the children of Shem according to their language and cities, after they were scattered on the earth after the tower. And every kingdom, city, and family of the families of the children of Noah built themselves many cities after this. And they established governments in all their cities in order to be regulated by their orders. So all the families of the children of Noah did forever. And this brings me to the end of chapter number 10, going through the lineage, I believe is the correct term. And in a couple days, you will receive a video that will be discussing in more detail what transpired when it came to Nimrod. And I'm so grateful to the Most High Creator God for giving me the strength this week to do everything that I need to do. I'm so grateful to the Most High Creator God for blessing my family and allowing me to spend the holiday season with my loved ones. I want to thank you guys for clicking on this video. I want to invite you to continue to join me on this journey of spiritual growth with this particular read-along series as we read through the book of Jasher. And before I say goodbye, I want to remind you that the Most High Creator God of the universe, the God of all gods, the God of all spirits, Yahweh, loves all of his children.